Alright, y'all, what's up? We back today. Like I told y'all, if you watched my One More Chance super trailer reaction, I said I was going to do this probably in sections. I said I was going to do all four parts, because you know they stretch the shit out. I said I was going to do all four parts in one video, but I've seen some clips online that made me want to go ahead and click in and watch now. So I done renewed my subscription to go ahead and take a look. And what we're going to do today is talk about part one and part two. And this might be in two days. You might see me wearing two different clothes. Because I might film this part today and then film the other part tomorrow and then put this up for you. But yeah, before we get into this, please go ahead and do me a favor. Thumbs up. Share this video. Comment down below. Please comment down below. Please thumbs up the video and please share it. But mainly, if you aren't already, please subscribe. I got some great content coming. Just filmed a podcast video with my friends yesterday, and I think I'm gonna start that's gonna be like the first of many kind of sit down conversations with me, just talking about life and whatnot. But yeah, that's to come soon. I'm gonna edit that and get that out hopefully as soon as possible. But yeah, like I said, if you haven't already, subscribe, check out what I already got out, see if you like what you see, and suggest what you want to see more from me. But let's go ahead and get into this review. Alright, so we get into the One More Chance reunion review. And just to kind of give you a little icebreaker, I watched the show. If you haven't already seen and don't already know this, I've watched the show. I was starting off doing reviews of the show, but after a while it kind of got old to me. So I stopped. But I still kept up with the show. I watched the show. I didn't watch it as religiously. But I watched the show. I finished the season and everything. So the reunion looks good. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, I didn't really follow the girls. I didn't follow any of the off-show drama, after post-season drama. I ain't follow none of that shit. So I didn't really know what was going on. So all these beasts that are happening, I'm not really too privy to them. So this is all fresh to me. But so the reunion starts, and they immediately show Flatbacks and Brown Sugar fighting, which is news to me because I'm trying to think, if I remember correctly, I don't even think they had beef in the house. But apparently this probably stems off of online, and like they said, there was some shit talking online. Apparently Brown Sugar was expecting Wop Wop to come for her and not Flatbacks. So apparently Flatbacks is basically fighting for Wop Wop and has some type of animosity towards Brown Sugar. But with the fight itself, from what I could see, nobody was winning. They both came in fighting with their head down. If you already know, I can't stand watching people fight with their head down. Like, you fighting, have your head up, square up, and then get your shots off. But they both fighting with their heads down. I can't see. I mean, they all swinging and stuff, but you can't really see them hitting anything, and they can't even see them hitting anything because their heads is down. So I mean, they both are swinging and stuff, but I can't really tell you who won the fight. But basically, Brown Sugar's wig came off, and Flatback's was running back with the wig because, you know, when a girl pulls another girl's wig off, that's like some kind of cue to them that they won the fight. No. You can yank somebody's wig, but did you do any damage? No. I can't see. I didn't see much damage on Brown Sugar because she put that wig back on and she still looked good. Like, she looked just how she did before she started fighting. But Wop Wop is now going off, and she's screaming and saying that she respected all of them girls, but they started the shit. That's why the fight happened, and yada, yada, yada. So she outside in the middle of the lobby screaming the shit, talking shit to the girls. And it's kind of funny too because they're all separated. It's like you got two sets. You got the set with Flatbacks and Wop Wop, which is them two, Bad and Bougie, Dottie, and Smiles. I think that's all that was in that room. And the other room is like the light-skinned girls. When I say the light-skinned girls, the light-skinned trio, the sisters, Smalls, Biggie, Soldier Girl. And then you got Roly Poly, Slim, and I think Brown Sugar, and I think that's it so far. But they in the other room too, so basically they don't even see the fight happening, but they're hearing about the fight happening. So Brown Sugar ends up going in and talking to them. So she's telling Wop Wop, she's telling Roly Poly, she's telling the light skinned girls, and Slim about the fight. Basically saying that Wop Wop, she ain't do shit. Like, she said she was expecting Wop Wop to do some shit, but she ain't do shit. and Flatbacks did the shit for her. So she was like, that came out of nowhere, and then she's thinking maybe Flapjacks is trying to get her second round in, because whenever they was doing the boxing thing, she got her ass whooped by Brown Sugar. And she basically saying all that, and Roly Poly's like, oh, I see what's going on. Flatbacks is just trying to get her last minute camera time, because she wasn't really seen on the show. She wasn't really seen on the season because she went home early, which to a certain degree, I can't see where Roly Poly's coming from. That could very likely be true. And a lot of girls like to get on here and try and show that they can fight, yada, yada, yada. So far, what I've seen, you ain't really showing me that you can fight. You can show me that you can run up, but you really ain't done much. But that part was a little interesting to me. But then Roly Poly saying that she's basically not fucking with Wop Wop no more, which is interesting too, because if you watch the season, those two kind of were together as two big girls, and it's like they kind of just banded together. They kind of have this similar personality too, but Roly Poly is saying that Wop Wop was pretty much envious of her the entire time, which is why she don't fuck with her. And basically Slim was sitting there saying the same thing and saying that Bad and Bougie and Wop Wop be on the internet talking shit. So that's why those two don't fuck with him. And then the rest of the girls, the light-skinned girls, they don't fuck with him either. So it's kind of like now you see where everything is starting to go and where it's going to go whenever they get on the stage. You got two different core groups. You got that core group of the light-skins and Roly Poly and Slim, and then you got the other group. So that's the interesting part. So then apparently Wop Wop, they get back into the other room, Wop Wop, Bad and Bougie and them. And Wop Wop is saying and boasting about how she put out Roly Poly's information on social media, aka her address, like her physical address where you can literally go drive and find her. So she's saying, and she's excited about it, she's laughing and shit. They all in there laughing, which I think is pretty odd. It's just like, why you putting people's business up? I understand like not fucking with somebody, kind of exposing somebody, yada, 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 doing all that. But why you gotta put people's address out there? Especially in today's days. Like, people are crazy. People will drive to your house and kill your ass. And then whenever that happens, I guarantee you Wop Wop gonna be feeling a different type of way. But these girls, they don't like each other. And that's pretty clear. But Smiles is sitting there talking to Bad and Bougie and Dottie. And basically, Smiles is basically thinking that one of the light-skinned girls is gonna come for Bad and Bougie. Which I think she's correct, because all three of them don't like her. And the other room, the light-skinned girls are saying they wish that Yodeler will come to the reunion so she can get Bad and Bougie together and get Dottie together, aka Miko. And whenever I say Yodeler's not here. So apparently she may be not coming to the reunion. I don't know yet. But she ain't there yet. They want her to come. And then I think that they're like in a little tight core group. So they're shocked that she's not there, and they don't know why she's not there. So that's interesting to them. But that's what they're hoping. And Slim had a little funny moment where she's saying, like, when you see her and Roly Poly, because I guess they Ace Moon Coons now. Basically saying when you see them, you see the number 1, or you see the number 10. Because you got Slim, the super skinny one, and you got Roly Poly, the wide round one. That was a funny moment. But then we get Soulja Boy. She's basically saying she's going to clock Chance and Bad and Bougie about the shit that they was talking about her kids and her having kids. Especially Chance, because Chance has kids, has more kids than her, has more baby mamas than she has baby daddies. And she gonna clock him about it. And I'm like, thank you. I'm glad you gonna do that, because like she said, and like a lot of these girls have said, and like a lot of us that have watched the show have said, Chance has disrespected the fuck out of these girls the entire season, especially when you're talking about people's kids. Like, he set Manjana up to come in there and just go for the jugular, dig in there and get on their ass about shit. And it's just like, why? Why is that necessary? And then he sits there and gets them riled up. Then they get riled up and start wanting to fight. And then he want to hide his hands and say, why are y'all doing this? Why are y'all doing this? Because you started it. Like, you egged the shit on it. Don't get mad at them for flipping out and going crazy when you started some shit and it was disrespectful. Of course they're going to go off. But like I said, Bad and Bougie's she's basically sitting there talking to Wop Wop and I think it was Flatbacks. And she a tough talker. That's one thing I've noticed about Bad and Bougie. She a tough talker. When I say she a tough talker, she talks like she really about that action. And I can tell she ain't about that action. I can just tell she ain't about that action. She's too pretty, first of all. You can tell she's very, very prissy. And you can tell she ain't really been in fights. You can tell she has not been in fights. As much as she want to make you seem like she been in fights, you know for a fact she ain't been in no fights. The only fights that she might have been in is the little tussles that have been on the show. But she talking tough, like she gonna go out here and do something. She's saying, when you see my skirt rip off, you know it's on site. Like, we about to go ahead and do what we gotta do. We'll see if she follows through on that. But Stormi shows up. Stormi, I like Stormi. Stormi's probably, out of all the girls, my favorite. Because I can tell she just naturally is that type of person that's just going to clock it and tell you exactly how she feels. And she flat out tells the sisters, like, I'm here and I'm going to check some people because they're talking some shit, especially Chance. And I'm like, thank you. I'm very glad to hear that she's trying to go for Chance. Because Chance deserves to get his ass ringed. And she gonna do it. But the sisters are basically filling Stormi in on the fight and everything that happened because Stormi wasn't there to know what happened. So that's what happened. Then we end up seeing Claudia and Janisha. Those two are going to be hosting the show. Claudia, when I say Claudia, Claudia Jordan. I think she's the perfect host for this show. She's very messy. If you watched her host the Love and Hip Hop reunion, she did good with that. And then her show, TGIF on Fox Soul. I watch that shit every single time they open an episode because the shit is funny. Like, it's super funny. And she's funny. So, and she's messy. She's naturally messy. So it's going to be good. And I think she's going to let them fight. But then we get Chance and his brother talking. He's sitting here trying to say he wants to kind of get his piece out and try and bring the girls together and come with peace. And it's like, it's so funny how he changes his tune now because all the girls are here. So we're going to see what's going to happen. Alright, y'all. So we get to the reunion. So they all get in there. And it's funny, too, because Claudia walks out. Janisha walks out. Well, Janisha was already there, but Claudia then walks out. But then the girls walk out. And of course, Bad and Bougie's the first one, and she's sitting there being extra, doing her little photo shoot, walk out. It's funny. She's the only one walking out there like that. Everybody else just walked out there normal. But as they walk out there, all the girls walk out there. They go out there in their little separate couches. And they go on the same couches that they were pretty much separated in those rooms when they were getting ready, except for Stormi was on the side with the other girls. And they immediately start saying, Stormi, you're on the wrong side of the couch. Like, you need to be on this couch. But as they sit down and Claudia's talking to them and saying, hey, y'all look nice, y'all look beautiful, yada, 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 it's really quiet and you can feel the tension. Like, you can tell they're not fucking with each other, and it's only a matter of time for somebody to get up and start doing something, or somebody gonna start talking some shit. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Small says that Skittle, like I said, she said that she was on the wrong side of the couch. Slim and Wop Wop, they immediately get into it. Slim is sitting here saying, like, you tough, and you think you tough, you ain't the only one that's tough here, da-da-da-da-da. And Wop Wop's talking shit back and forth, and they just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it's getting heated, and Claudia and Janisha get up, and they sitting there trying to calm them down, but they just get more and more riled up. But they eventually get them calmed down, and Claudia's like, just sit down and at least show yourself off first. Introduce yourself first. You got plenty of time to sit here and get into this shit if you want to get into it. You want to argue, you want to fight, you got plenty of time. Just show yourself off. Let's get through the introductions. So that's what they do. They start on the girls on the side with the light skins, Roly Poly, Slim, that side. They all getting up, everybody on that couch is clapping for each other. Wop Wop is over there talking shit the minute Roly Poly get up. And it's funny too, because it's like she the only one over there that really looked like she was really bothered. But she was over there talking that shit. And it was funny. But Dottie ends up standing up on that side, and nobody claps. Claudia notices that. She's like, y'all ain't gonna clap for her? Y'all clap for pretty much everybody else? And they just sitting there mute. Like, nah, I ain't clapping for her. They ain't clapping for Bad and Bougie. And Dottie claims that she is the most hated on the show. And they like, nah, you ain't the most hated. We just don't fuck with you, da-da-da-da. And then they all just start verbally assaulting her at this point. They just going off saying da-da-da-da, talking shit. And it was so funny, too, because Dottie's just sitting there, too. And with her, I don't necessarily know where the beef comes from, but her energy is kind of given unbothered at the moment in time, so we'll see how far that goes and how long that lasts. But they talking their shit, too. Wop Wop stands up, and she's all, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, you ugly, you ugly. Just talking shit. Wop Wop, she's looking like she's ready for the action. So that's interesting to see. I'm ready to see whenever she's going to start getting into this hustle. But Claudia asked... Claudia basically was sitting there talking to them, and as Wop Wop was sitting there talking, or as Claudia is sitting there talking to them, Wop Wop is basically talking shit back and forth with Slim again. Slim mentioned something about Section 8, saying, like, I'd be mad too if I lived in Section 8. Claudia was like, not Section 8. Claudia and her little side comments is so funny. Like, that's the funniest part for me with Claudia. That's how she was on her other shows. They just make you laugh. Like, she funny as fuck. But, yeah, so they all sitting out there, and then, they introduced Chance and Micah, his brother, because they weren't even there. So they bring him out, and it's funny too because they had all these little girls, not little girls, but women, kind of like walking out with the Chance hats on. And I'm sitting here like, okay, so you already got season 3 casted. At least that's what it's looking like. So it's like what's the point in the show? Like, we know it's not about love, but I mean, if you're gonna sit here and say it's a love show, at least try and act like you're trying to get into it and trying to start a relationship with these girls. But as you can see, it's looking like season 3 is probably about to happen. But Claudia's basically saying, like, do you really want to find love? She poses that question to Chance, and it's a good question to ask. It's like, really, like, what's your goal with the show? And Smile says, is that season 3, talking about the girls that just walked out? And I'm like, yeah, is that season 3? That's a good question. And Soldier Girl is basically saying to Chance, after he says that he is trying to find love, she's like, how many chances do you need? AKA, how many seasons of this show do you still need to have? And he couldn't even really answer that. And that's the funny part, because it's kind of like they all was clocking him in that moment. And Claudia's question was very valid, and as was Soldier Girl's. But basically, he's sitting there claiming like he's there for love, but the girls that he gets there, they get so involved with each other, with the fighting and stuff, that they ain't even trying to really be there for him. Now, for certain girls, yes, but the majority of them, at least if they weren't there for him, you can tell they're at least trying to act like they are. But you didn't give them anything to work with. Like, they had these challenges and whatnot. And most dating shows back in the day, like you watch Flavor of Love, you watch, hell, their show, Real Chance of Love, back in the day, they did them challenges and actually had like dates. Like, you win a challenge, you go on a date. They won the challenge and that was it. Like, nothing else happened. They go back to the house, and then there'd be some drama, and then they go to eliminations. There was no dates, there was none of that shit until like the last episode, and it wasn't even really a date. It was just him sitting there asking him why they should be chosen to be with him over the other girl, when y'all ain't even really built nothing. Y'all don't have no foundation. So why the fuck would they? And they all the girls are sitting there talking shit about each other in those days. So it's like, it's pointless. But as they sitting there talking to this, Skittles gets up, aka Stormy. She gets up. The girls are claiming that she don't feel good. I felt like she got up because she was just sick of hearing Chance talk. Like, you could tell she was getting irritated just watching him. But she gets up, and then they end up talking about yodeling. Because Smiles asked Chance, like, why are you... He basically saying, like, none of these girls are here for him. She's like, why was yodeling in the Final Four? She ain't here. Like, clearly she ain't here for you. But you sent us home, a.k.a. her and the other girls that went home early when they were there for him, and they're still there, a.k.a. at the reunion. And he's like, because Yodeler was the homie, and Yodeler was like kind of like my informant. Like, she hang with a bunch of information. And Claudia asked another good question. Did you keep her around because you felt like you could build something with her, or did you keep her around because she's a fan favorite? And the latter is the truth. He kept her around because she's a fan favorite. Same thing with Roly Poly. Roly Poly, love her to death, but that man don't want nothing to do with her. Like, it's her being a friend, yeah. But anything romantic, anything like interpersonal, no. He ain't trying to be with her. But he kept her around to the Final Four too. So what's Chance is very hypocritical. He looks stupid. But basically, as they're talking about Yodeler, Bad and Bougie jumps in and says, like, she out in Miami being a hoe. She's on the show. She only did the show because she needs another check. She got a 438 credit score, and she's got an eviction notice on her door, yada, yada, yada. Just talking shit, which obviously that can't be true, truthfully. If you got a 438 credit score, you in some dumps, and you in some slumps. And from what I can tell, Yodeler will be out here, and you got to have some money to be out here. An eviction notice, I'm sure she keeping up with her shit in that way. But the light-skinned twins, the sisters, they ended up going to bat for Yodeler, saying, like, she missed her flight. That's why she's not here. But you sitting here talking all this shit, like, just being all hypey and stuff. So they was basically going to bat for Yodeler, which is cool. I mean, I was like, because at one point I was like, is somebody going to back her at all? But they started to finally pipe in and say what they needed to say. But then, lastly, we get on to Brown Sugar and Flatbacks. And we show kind of like a little montage of their little boxing match. AKA, the reason why that was being shown was because of their little tussle that happened at the beginning of the reunion. So Claudia's asking who won the fight. And they basically sitting there talking back and forth saying each other got beat up and da-da-da-da. And basically they get on to basically talking about how the beef started in the first place. Apparently, Brown Sugar was in the comments talking shit, saying like she got her ass whooped, talking about Flatbacks. Flatbacks then takes that and goes ahead and makes a video And apparently her and Brown Sugar was cool at that moment in time. And Brown Sugar's like, instead of you making this video talking shit, you should have just like slid my DMs or text me or whatnot and say, hey, I wasn't okay with them comments, yada, 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 on some grown woman shit. She wasn't doing that, so she felt like she wanted to go out there and kind of like air it out for the public. Like, you in the comments publicly commenting, so I'm gonna air it out publicly. But then they both end up getting up. Claudia, being messy, was like, y'all want round 3? Like, y'all done already fought already. Y'all fought in the boxing ring. Y'all fought this morning. Y'all want to fight now? And then they end up getting up. And the funny thing that I noticed too is Flatback, she took her shoes off, but Brown Sugar had her heels on. She was ready whenever it was down. But then they start fighting again, and that's the cliffhanger. And the funny thing is, again, they start fighting. And the minute they start fighting, what they do? Like, I can't stand watching people fight with their hairs down. But that's it for this part 1. I think I'm going to just put this one out. I said I was going to clip them together, but I'm going to put this one out tomorrow. I'm going to try and get part 2 done. If I don't get it done tomorrow, I'm going to try and get it out. What's tomorrow? Tuesday? Wednesday? I'm going to try to get it out Wednesday. But yeah, drop a comment. Let me know what y'all think about part 1. Let me know what you think about part 2, even though I haven't even watched it yet or even reviewed it. So, but just let me know what you think. Drop a comment. Thumbs up the video. Share the video. Subscribe if you have not already. Let's get this thing going. I'm trying to get the content rolling out for y'all. But yeah, I'll be here tomorrow, so check me out later. Peace.